That's what we're gonna do.
I have creative. And then I have
Game as well.
Williams.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think there's any secrets. Scott Kushner? Oh, he's here, yeah.
It smells terrible.
It's a team locker room.
What's happening, guys? Top 5 class. How much money we paid those guys? Hey, man, it was a lot. Put your 5 and 7 seasons, and then top 5 class.
Sure, yeah. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As far as I can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody else need a Y balance?
I think there's a difference between like if you're
1, 2, 3. Test. Tulane football signing day. Test.
and then there's 80.
Thank you.
Let's go, man. Let's go. What's up, Tammy?
The alumni game?
You said you had to. You said you were busy covering baseball Saturday, so that's why you had to do that.
I will, actually, I'm probably be out there. And you will too, are you gonna be out there?
I had plenty of time on my hands. The rival site crashed naturally for an hour and a half.
Nuh-uh.
That could figure it out. Stop it. Then they shut down their stores.
Here.
Nobody else could. There's other kids like totally bad. No, I can't believe the whole site went down. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was trying to look at your timeline actually, and it was.
Was it because you guys had too many hits or?
Okay, there must have been because half of their staff left. There's 47. Slight problems.
And everything just.
I bet there was a freaking party 24/7. Oh yeah, like that.
Oh yeah. Man.
All right, if everybody will have a seat, we'll get started. All right, good afternoon. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. This is kind of a college football's version of Christmas in February with National Signing Day. Before I introduce our head coach, everybody should have received a release, and we'll be sending those out via email here in just a few minutes and also posting on our website. A little later this afternoon, we'll have a transcript from this press conference. Here you go, Tammy.
Oh, thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce our head coach, Curtis Johnson.
Thank you guys for coming out today. It's been a very, very exciting year and a very exciting day for us today. This has been one of our biggest gifts for Christmas, blessings, I would call it, because there's no way we should have gotten to these kids that we've gotten. I mean, this is just, last year was a miracle class. This is beyond that. This class is just awesome. I hate to do this in front of all these cameras, but I have to really apologize to my wife. I've been wearing these Super Bowl ring, and I've been wearing a national championship ring all recruiting. Well, I lost my wedding ring. So that's why I don't have it on. No, we have problems, but not those kind of problems. So I finally took the Super Bowl ring off because I only wear it during recruiting, and I wear the national championship ring, and you guys just ask for forgiveness. I just don't have my wedding ring today. So let's not spread any rumors. I know all these shows. First of all, as you go through recruiting, and one thing we do, we get on kids very, very early. I mean, as you see, and sometimes they go another different direction and sometimes they don't. But the one thing that's a mainstay in what we do is, one, we keep the unity of our staff as much as possible. And this year we lost, Coach Lamb is gone. He's not returning. He had some illness problems. And I think he's going to be fine. I know he's going to be fine. He's doing well, but he won't be with us. And no, there's no replacements. And everybody's been applying already for 6 months. And then we also lost Coach Ndo, who I had to push him out the door. That's a joke. I really didn't. He's going to go to he's probably going to get my old office. He's going to take Coach Lombardi's place at the Saints, and we wish him well. He was a great coach, great recruiter for us. And Sean just spoke highly of him. I bragged on him so much. Sean couldn't do anything but take him. But I think the guys in this room know, all these coaches in this room, they put this class together. They've been on all these kids for over a year. Most of those guys committed early. Some guys, what we call flip-flopped and flip-back, and we had all kind of backwards flip, forward flips, and somersaults. But we got to the guys that we really, really wanted to get to. And the reason why we did, I think we do a great job with parents. So I got to thank all the parents, Kendall Aldwin's mom, mom and dad, Kenneth and Carlene. Got to thank the boys, Eric's mom, Eric and Anona. I got to thank Glenn's mom, Rory and Trudy, mom and dad. Andrew, the kicker, he's going to be our new Cairo. Robert and Ruth. Brandon Sr. and Monique. Uncle Lyde, the kid who broke the state record in touchdowns. Kaylin, she's a great bowler too, guys. Renee's mom, Tawana and Renee. Timothy and Pearl. The Hilliards, Abe and Rhonda. Leandre James's mom, Ronnie and Yvonne. Devin Johnson, Wayne and Jessica. Charles Johnson, Maurice and Ashley. Charles Jones, Robert Kennedy, Robert and Sandra, strong parents. Donnie Lewis parents, Donald and Pamela. The Loftons, James and Gabrielle. Donnie and Laquita. The Marbleys, Williams, Scott, William and Lisa. Skinner's parents, we've been recruiting Skinner for about 2 years now. It seems like a lifetime. Seems like he's already graduated. He hadn't gotten in yet. Keith and Doris. Daryl Williams, this one here was special right here now. John and Kelsa. Kelsa called me this morning. She was like, "Did you get the letter?" Well, I said, "No, not yet. It's not 7 o'clock yet." She was on top of it now. She's an amazing lady. What she went through something this weekend. Sean Wilson, my hunter, Jonathan and Ida, and Peter Woolick, Peter and Ingrid. I got to thank those parents because those were the people who kept this recruiting class together. I think this class, this is by far the best class that we've had, and you can tell by the people who we recruited against. And we're not going against, I would say the big top 10 people of the world, but some of those top 10s came in on some of our kids at the end, and they kind of held steady. And thanks for the great background, the parenting of these young men and these assistant coaches who did a magnificent job with this class. I'd like to open it up for questions. Nothing about the wedding ring anymore.
No wedding ring questions?
No wedding ring questions. I'm here tonight, so okay.
You ended up with an offensive lineman, I think, at the end,
Yeah.
that was committed to ULL. And, tell me a little bit about that process. And,
Well, we just felt that when we looked at our board again, and he was a young man who was in camp, and we didn't bring him in on a visit, and we kind of wanted to, and then we kind of didn't have anything. What I hate to do is bring guys in on a visit, and then we don't have anything. And then something came open at the end. We had another position player go somewhere else. And, we really liked him. Coach McDonnell got on the phone with him. And one thing about McDonnell, he's going to recruit his backyard, his house. So he's farming his own land. And so he was still with the kid. He had a couple kids in mind. We looked at it on tape, and this kid was the best kid that we thought on tape. I think he's going to be big. He's only 17 years old. He has a brother here at UNO that goes to school at UNO. And it was just a natural fit. We talked with his mom and his dad, and, he called back yesterday and said, "Coach, I'm going to be a Green Wave." And so Coach Mack did a great job with that young man.
how much reassuring did you have to do with Glenn when Mike New left?
Well, Glenn, I think Glenn has been around so long, I don't think Glenn even knew that he was gone. If you wouldn't have said it, if you wouldn't have wrote that story yesterday. But Glenn was good. He was comfortable. He was comfortable with it, and you did a good job. I'm gonna tell you, editor, you did a good job because that wasn't supposed to come out until today. But he was good. He was fine. He'd been around us so much. We recruit everybody's kids. So Glenn knew everybody on the staff, and it was a good deal. Glenn knew it was a great business decision for Mike and his family.
Same thing with the quarterbacks in-house, Tanner Lee, Nick Montana. And then Nick had a good relationship
Really good, really good. We all did, and those guys understand. One thing I've spoken to most of them, and they got a great understanding about the business. And it's not like Mike won't be slipping in watching practice or anything. He'll probably do that, but they know it was best for Mike and best for his family. And I think the biggest guy who got the biggest uplift was Ryan. Yeah, I know he's just smiling from ear to ear right now.
Who will coach that position?
Well, as of right now, we looking around. We may have somebody in house in the next couple of days. If not, EP, our coordinator. That's one of the advantages for having a coordinator who's a walk-around guy. He's coached quarterbacks before. He was with Kansas City. He was with the Jets. He knows the system. He'll do a great job until we get a guy in house. And we'll get some guys in house pretty soon here. We've been reaching out and talking to people. Matter of fact, they've been bombarding us with calls. There's so many good people out there. I just don't know who's the best fit for us.
You have 2 tight ends on your roster. You signed 4.
Absolutely.
I guess that's a statement that you're making a commitment to that.
Yeah, you know what? Most college teams don't play with a tight end, and we're one of the ones that got to one of Sean Payton. If you look at Sean Payton and Bill Belichick, I call them what their mainstays are. They find ways to get the ball to the tight end, and if I don't start doing it, he's going to probably disown me, because he has Jimmy Graham and I don't. But we're going to find our Jimmy Graham in this class. We're going to find our Shockey in this class and Watson in this class. So we're going to do some stuff with the tight ends that most colleges hadn't seen and they don't see. But we'll do some stuff this year. We'll get this offense where we want it to be.
Darren Williams, that situation.
If you only knew. This was a made-for-TV movie, this one now.
The dramatics of that, it looks clean today. So just take us through that situation and how, blessed you are to end up with that.
Well, Lionel and John been recruiting the guy, forever and ever, and all of a sudden, a school like Kansas State, they came in which they should do. Darren Williams is a good player. It wasn't just Kansas State. They had Florida calling. I mean, people do their homework, and when they come down here, they're going to get a good player. And we felt he was one of the better guys for what he does. He's big enough. He's a physical defensive end. He's a pass rusher. And we just felt for us to get him, we knew they were going to come in. The 2 players, I told them, one player we lost, and I told the staff, I say, these 2 guys here, I say, look, whatever you do, these are the 2 that's gonna go. We got to just get those 2. I'm not going to mention the other player's name. Well, when Darren came in and we found out he was going to Kansas State, he said he was flipped, and John and Speedy got on the phone with him, and he said, well, you guys can flip me back. So, but the mom was awesome. She was great. The people at the school were great. The coaches at the school, Coach Banco, Coach Ox, Coach Gathers, they did a wonderful job, getting this kid mind cleared, and he saw what was best for him. We got 3 good players now, 3 of their best players from that school. So they did a good job. The principal was awesome, with it. And so it was, but it went. And finally last night I had a long conversation with the mom, and she was a doll last night.
I mean, how much, as stressful as that was, how nice was it to have a guy like Veal, to have him already on campus, already taking.
Yeah, because that would have gotten pretty ugly, that one also, because what happened with him was he kind of switched schools and got kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit. And all the schools that were recruiting him, the best thing about that was they couldn't find him. And we kind of knew where he was. I thought Keith did a great job. He's another guy that forms his own land. Keith went out and did a fantastic job with Veal. And so all of a sudden, here we go. Here we go. All of a sudden, one day they were planning on visiting this place, that place. He was on campus. And so then it was wonderful.
Where did he, quote unquote, find him? What do you mean by that?
Well, he was at Carver High School, and then he transferred to West Jeff. So in the middle of things, when he transferred late in the school year, coaches couldn't get back out to Carver, and Carver wasn't giving out information on him. And then, a lot of people didn't know where he was.
That being able to kind of talk to, people around programs and get information, how to get to the kids, that's something that I think previous staffs have not been able to kind of navigate locally.
Well, here's what I would say this year. I thought David Johnson probably did the best job this year because he knew all the high school coaches he was in, he was out, he was recruiting and just getting guys, getting names, new aunts, uncles. He reminded me of a young CJ when I was down here, just kind of in and out, just doing all those things. And, he's better looking, but he just did a phenomenal phenomenal job, I felt. And he just, every time there was a question about something, he already had the answer. And so that really helped us this year in recruiting.
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being close to one of the highest rated classes by scouting services and stuff in the last 10, 15 years or so. What does that say? Does it say anything to you?
Well, it says that we got some guys that's going to really get de-recruited pretty soon. You know, that's the one thing that we got to start doing, these guys, because we've told them, we've told them a lot of good stuff. No, but it says it's the ability to work with these coaches. It shows that our staff, it shows that we get a commitment here with a new stadium. We got a commitment, you know, we got a new president coming in that I think he's going to be on board with everything. The athletic director, he's done phenomenal. The stadium's coming up. You know, we're talking about some other stuff that we got that's going on. So, and then the best thing about it is, the one negative thing was they were telling our kids the school was too good. You know, everybody's saying the school was too hard. Well, if you look at it, Darian Monroe's doing a fantastic job here. You know, Leonard Jones doing well. All those guys doing good in school. So they really taking time in the school. The professors and the people over there in the study areas are really taking time, and they're really studying, and they're really doing a good job with our kids.
How helpful is the AAC and the new television contract and all that you're going into? How much do you recruit?
Well, you got to, because what you do is you go in and you say, look at it, hey, this team, you know, you look at Central Florida, they were in the Fiesta Bowl this year, and they won it. You know, they beat a good Baylor team, so that's teams that you're going to be competing against. The television contract, it's not going away, it's a contract. You know, so that's what I tell them, hey, look, you think this thing's going away? It's not going away. It's a contract. It's a signed document. You know, it's not going away. The places we're gonna play in Florida. You like the sunshine here? Well, Florida has beaches. I'll take you to the beach when we go out there and play. You know, so just all this stuff that's coming together. The stadium, we had a tour in the inside of the stadium. Now this stadium is something else. If you can get in there and see the bus tour in the stadium, I kind of like it. It reminds me just a close, tight-knit place. So the students, when these kids were on campus, the students were better. You know, that's what winning does. The students were good. They were speaking to them and, you know, rooting them on, telling them to come to Tulane. This was a win-win-win recruiting year, and it's just going to get better.
Have you had a conversation with the new president yet? And just curious, kind of, that's real important from where you sit.
Yeah, you know, I hadn't had a conversation with my wife yet, just because recruiting, I was on the phone. I was texting guys 3 o'clock in the morning. I was staffed 3 a.m. So me and my wife would talk tonight. And as soon as he can fit me in his schedule, you know, I'm definitely want to talk to him. But everything I've read, everything I've heard, he's going to be just awesome here.
20 or 24 from Louisiana, how important is that?
Very, very important. It's one of the things one thing I said when I stepped up here the first time I ever said, I said, we're going to draw a line, and it's going to be the state of Tulane. Now, we're not messing with those guys in Baton Rouge yet too much. Notice I said yet. Too much, because those guys are doing a fantastic job. But we want to get our kids here. We want to get the kids, the character kids in our program. And I think we're doing a very, very good job of doing that.
Coach, is the quarterback job
It's-
wide open in the spring?
Every job is wide open. I mean, it's just open as it can be. The quarterbacks, the running backs, the receivers. You know, I'm looking at some of these freshman players, and I'm saying, how are we going to keep some of these guys on the bench? So yeah, it's definitely wide open, and that's the way it should be in every program. Unless we got Drew Brees. Look, if Brees comes, it's his job. But anybody else, this thing is wide open. It's going to be interesting to see these guys compete. You know, I like what Montana did early on in the season. I like Powell at the end, but I like this Tanner Lee. I like Glenn coming in here. I like Jordy. So all these guys going to have a fair shot of impressing me and this new quarterback coach.
There's a follow. Is it like your offensive struggles at the end of last year?
Mm-hmm.
You went back and looked at that. You know, can you talk about what you think might be a few of the remedies there?
Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to get some depth. You know, we started 2 freshmen, you know, and they struggled somewhat. You know, we never, I don't think Nick ever really got the real continuity, because he was banged up in one offense or another. Ryan Grant was probably the only receiver that was there consistent throughout the year. All those other guys were getting hurt. You know, Darko was out a game or 2. You know, so we just had a lot of guys in and out injured. And then we were playing with 4 to 5 guys who never played or didn't play a year ago. You know, Donnelly was the only consistent starter that we had on the offensive line. So I think now that we got some tight ends in this program, we're getting to do the things that we really want to do. We will mainstream this thing to where we want to go, because we did some things that we really, really didn't want to do. But now we'll get there, and I think it'll be simpler. It'll be a better understanding. I think these guys will excel this year.
What is your philosophy on starting spring practice so early? I know Montana and Powell are going to be ready.
Well, they got to be ready because, they're very important to us. One of the two reasons why we started spring practice early, I don't want to mess with our practice facility because we building this new stadium, so I better get my stuff before this draft stuff start happening. I better get it on. And then what it does is it helps us at the end of the school year. The volume of exams and papers at the end of the year, I want to give those kids a lot of time to study, and then I want to give them a lot of time to get stronger up until the season. So the way we calculate it is like 12 weeks that they can get stronger and faster towards the end of the season after the spring ball is done. So I think this is a win-win situation, and I don't want guys being drunk coming to practice for Mardi Gras, so we'll get done before the end of two. But it's just a win-win for us. I love starting it early. We got time. We're gonna have a lot of time after to tweak anything we need to tweak, and then the competition will be so good because it's early. We're still in pretty decent shape from, just the memory of the bowl game is still fresh in our minds.
Is Montana healthy at this point, and what about Powell?
Powell, well, it was cold. Powell slipped. He slipped. So you slip, you can't much practice for a slip. And Montana seems to be pretty healthy. I watch him out the window. He's throwing well. Tanner's healthy. All those guys will be ready. They'll be ready for spring. Everybody want to compete. Everybody want to impress whoever this new coach is going to be.
What other position do you see is wide open?
Running backs wide open. We don't have Grant receivers. These tight ends better show me something because I know these four could play. This defensive line, Darren Williams, Marbley is a linebacker, Harris is a linebacker. So, it's a lot of positions. Doss, I would say, he got his position. It's not cement. He's on sand. Everybody else is on water. Monroe better watch out because, we got some safeties. Leonard Jones is impressive.
Jordan Batiste, leaves you, and so that's, he was kind of a honey badger sort of role.
Exactly.
Do you have somebody that
Yeah, we're going to do some things. We got some honey badgers already in place already. Jordan did a wonderful job for us. It's good. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his direction where he's going in. But we got some definite honey badgers. I like this Jared Franklin now. He's a honey badger. So we're gonna have some guys who can run around and play.
The two guys from Bell Chase, Robert Kennedy and Terran, like really stand out on film that may not have been guys that were, according to recruiting services, were the top guys. What do you like about it?
Here's what happens. Dave Johnson does just a fantastic job. Again, what happens is, I'm from, when I would fly in here from Miami, I would not go to Bell Chase or say that I wouldn't go to Bell. It's just too far. Airports. I'm gonna stay close to the airport. Get my little room, get my guys around and whatever. Well, when guys started to get a feel for Ankalaw broke the state record in touchdowns. He's just a fast, physical. How many times you get a receiver already 6'1", 200 pounds already coming into this school? And then, Robert Kennedy, don't wrestle him. Just don't. He just pins everybody. Then he runs the 200, and he wins district in the 200. So when this guy's name got around, Dave was so far in front of it. He did such a magnificent job with him and at that school and recruiting Quinlan from the year before. Quinlan didn't even play his senior year. He was recruited. We kept our word. So all of a sudden, these kids dying to come here. So it's just fantastic. If you guys look at these guys on film, you're gonna see something special with those kids. Any other questions? Thank you, guys.